Let's look at the second task that I set you, which was to extend the program. So I want the same program, I just want you to build on top of it. To detect if the user has not entered a string, just press enter. I've just shown you how that works, and give a suitable message if you detect the error string. Hint, you'll need to know what an empty string is, and you'll need to use if statements. Okay, so let's manage this. You'll need to know what an empty string is. Now, in all programming languages, the empty string is just 2 quote marks and nothing in between, absolutely nothing at all. I know that looks empty, but it's actually got a space in. We will look at character tables and what they all mean later. We can have a lot of blank spaces between 2 quote marks and it might look empty, but actually there's something in there. So that isn't empty. That is an empty string. So all empty strings are just 2 quote marks next to one another with nothing in between. And in Python we can use, and other languages, we can also use the single quote marks for a string, and that has the same meaning. That is empty, that is not empty. So we understand what the empty string is. So we're going to try to detect that. So I'm going to extend my program. The first way I'm going to extend it is by deleting this. Okay, so I'm just getting some information in from the user. My variable equals raw input. Please enter a binary string. The second hint that I gave you is that you would need to use if statements, conditionals we call them. And they work like this. If my variable is equal to, we need the 2 equal signs, the empty string, and I've used the single quote marks there. If my variable is equal to the empty string, and every time we use an if statement we need to have the colon at the end, that you need to know. And when we press enter after the colon, it should automatically indent. There we go. Now this is saying if it is the empty string, and the task was to print a suitable error message if you detect the empty string. Well, we're detecting it now. Okay, we're finding out, we're checking if my variable is the empty string. So I'm going to print out a suitable message. Print, you did not enter anything. There we go, there's a suitable message. I could leave my program at that. That has actually managed the task. Let's run it. Save it and run it. So file, save as, minitask2.py. Let's run. Please enter a binary string. Just press enter. You did not enter anything. We've done the job. However, it's a little bit ugly. What I would like to do is print out the variable if there was a string in, if we'd entered a string. And I can do that in an if statement by using the else clause. Else. And that stands alone and it just has a colon at the end. There is never anything after the else, just a colon. Please remember that. So this is what's going to happen. So if this is true, the empty string, it's going to print that. If it's false, it's going to come down to here and it's going to do this line. Print my variable. Exactly the same as we had before up here, but I've just moved it inside my condition here so that it only works if I type something in. So let me run my program. Please enter a binary string 101010, and there we go, it's printed out the result. Run the program again just to show that if we enter nothing at all, it says you didn't enter anything. So we've now completed task 2. Importantly, we've introduced the if statement and the else statement to go with it. So we've got 3 keywords at the moment: raw input, if, and else which are controlling our program. We've got a further keyword print, which which we can either print out a string or we can print out the contents of a variable. Okay, so that's the end of minitask 2. We need to move on now to minitask 3.